to go against me, since he doesn't have any proof yet. On the other hand, why don't you forget about everything about this case and work in my company? Well, what do you say? Do you accept it?
You're both imbeciles.
Fabiola, we have to talk.
After the dust settled on rigorous campaigns, Kenyans are waiting for elected leaders to deliver on their pledges.
To have clean, accessible drinking water across the county.
The hustle of everyday Kenyans is encouraged and rewarded.
Operationalizing Kerugoya Level 5 Hospital.
A functioning school feeding program.
But how have the leaders performed so far?
The percentage of A's in 2021 were more than those ones in 2022.
We will not politicize security, because if we do so, we endanger the country.
Every week, we bring you an honest assessment of the national and county governments.
One of the best ways of accelerating national development is through collaboration with county governments.
The Scorecard, coming soon on KBC Channel 1.
A very good afternoon to you. It is the 5th of March, the year 2023. Thank you for joining us here for Lunchtime News. We are live at the Broadcasting House, but we are also live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitter at KBC Channel 1. I am Nissie Imano. Lensa Odingo is our sign language interpreter this afternoon. Now, the National Council of Non-Governmental Organizations is demanding the government leaders and peace stakeholders in bandit-prone areas to take decisive action to prevent further loss of life. This comes barely 24 hours after the killing of 2 people in a fresh attack in Tot area in Elgeyo Marakwet. During the raid, the attackers made away with several herds of livestock.
In a statement, the non-government organization is calling for peaceful coexistence among Kenyans, saying they will work with local leaders and peace stakeholders in the region to restore peace in banditry-prone regions. Their statement comes amid rising tension in West Pokot and Turkana border following a bandit attack on Saturday in Masol area. The bandits are reported to have made away with several herds of livestock, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. 2 people were killed during the raid.
Mkishindwa tutenda ile kazi yetu ya kawaida. Sasa tumezoea hiyo. President wewe ulisema kwamba hakuna kucheka, hakuna kusema nini? Wacha kicheko sasa imetokea hapa. Hata hao wanaonyesha kwamba hata kuheshimu wakati sisi wengine tunakuheshimu. Lakini hatuwezi fungwa mkono na mwingine anakaonyeka sisi.
Leaders from West Pokot County condemning the incident urge the government to pursue and recover the animals.
Na tunataka kueleza serikali kwamba mara kwa mara wamesema Wapokot ndio wachokozi, lakini ya leo kwa macho yao Waturkana wenyewe wamefanya uvamizi wakiwa kwa kundi kubwa na hiyo ng'ombe imeelekea upande wa Turkana, upande wa Kalemuru, na nimeambiwa ya kwamba wale askari ambao wanafanya operation wameenda mpaka wamekutana na hiyo ng'ombe. So tunatarajia kwamba hiyo ng'ombe itarudishwa.
West Pokot Senator Julius Murgo asked the government to ensure that the operation taking place also protects the property of locals.
Turkana watashtaki Pokot usiku na mchana na kupika nduru na kuonekana ni watu ambao wamevamiwa. Ng'ombe hao wote zaidi ya 2,000 wasiporudishwa, serikali inafikiria Pokot atafikiria nini? Pokot atafikiria serikali ni pamoja na Turkana.
Separately in Baringo, access to basic needs has become a challenge due to insecurity.
Kwa sababu wasichana wetu kwanza kiwa hapa reserve pipi yenye hakuna hata duka yenye nini nanunua hiyo vitu, hata sabuni, hata kila kitu yenye nanunuliwa.
So naomba watu wakuje huku, si ati huku ni mabunduki si ati ni bunduki ziko huku, ni watu wako hapa, ni real people wako hapa. So let us try and rebuild them, support the schools along these borders.
Donors are forced to wait for security officers to escort them as they provide basic supplies to families, including free sanitary towels to girls in schools.
Hakika yale huyu ameleta ni ya mwezi hiyo February na March. Lakini tukiendelea mwezi wa 4, mwezi wa 5, watoto watafanya nini? Kuna wasichana wanatarajia kufanya mtihani.
That for this school, which is a giant school, to remain open and to continue offering services to our children, then we need to put up a security cam around here.
The government deployed security officers and military officers to conduct a disarmament exercise and restore peace. Ruth Wamboy for Lunchtime News.
And a section of leaders in Samburu County want the Interior Ministry to withdraw the military in the volatile area. According to the leaders, the Kenya Defence Forces have failed to restore peace in the bandit-prone areas. They now want the government to task the Kenya Police Reservists to deal with the bandits, saying they understand the terrain better.
A somber mood engulfed hundreds of residents and Gano village who gathered the burial of the late Stephen Letulai, who died in the hands of bandits.
Tuko na majonzi sahi, tunambaye tunasika ndugu zetu ambaye hana makosa ya kuchukuliwa na ugonjwa yoyote, ambaye ni watu wengine tu magorila wamekuja kuoa. Kwamba ni security, sisi hapa kwa hii area hatuna kabisa ambaye mtu anamshunga pande hii. Kusema ukweli, kama serikali, kama tuseme kama polisi. Kwa sababu hii shimo iko hapa, polisi hawezi ingia.
Samburu leaders who attended the burial condemned the killings and called on the government to protect the lives of its citizens.
Kupoteza principal chief Kenya hii ni kama kupoteza county commission. Kwa sababu wako 47 peke yao.
Shida iko kwa mpaka. Watu wako na mashamba wanaishi mzuri na kuna watu wengine wanasumbua. Tabia hiyo iishe. Hata kama iwezi isha leo, lakini tabia hiyo iishe.
The leaders regretted that many innocent people are losing their lives and properties in the area.
Mbeleni wakati tulikuwa tunapigana hapa kote, hawa machief walikuwa na bunduki. Kwa hivyo mimi naomba kila chief ile maomgad unapea mapunduki, patia machief punduki. Kwa sababu hawa watu wakiwa na punduki, kuna wakati tulikuwa tumepatia wa mapunduki na omgad 2. Ili wakisikia kitu, hao ndio ataitwa haraga na hao ndio atakimbia haraga hata kabla mtu mwingine akimbie.
They want the Kenya Police Service to be tasked with the responsibility of restoring sanity in the volatile areas of North Rift. According to them, the Kenya Defence Forces have failed the test since they don't understand the terrain.
Kwa sababu wao ndio wanajua terrain na hao wanajua terrain pia. Lipa KPR mshahara iko kwa sheria. Tuliweka sheria last parliament, the 11th parliament, tuliweka sheria kwa police, National Police Service Act. ya kusema kwamba train, vet, command structure na payment na uniform na bunduki. Iko kwa sheria. Na polisi wako na pesa mingi sasa, wako na pesa mingi sana ya lipeni KPR. Ndio itasaidia sisi hao wengine huko ndani kwa mguu.
Timothy Kipnoso for Lunchtime News.
Meanwhile, the widow of the Mombasa traffic officer who was last week killed by a motorist in Mombasa claims some powerful people in the country have started interfering with the case. Florence Matinde, the wife of Police Constable Julius Marwa, says she fears that justice may be subverted.
Speaking at the Muslims for Human Rights offices near the Mombasa Law Courts, Florence Matinde, the wife to Police Constable Julius Marwa, the victim of the Buxton Junction incident in Mombasa, said she wants justice for her late husband.
Ungependa sana sababu tunaona polisi hakuna mtu ambaye anawatetea hao watu wa human rights. Tungeomba sana waweze kushughulikia hiki kesi cha mzee, sababu tunaona kwamba hatuna mtetezi ambaye ataweza kutetea. Mzee wangu aliuawa vibaya sana.
The family of the deceased now says that they have been kept in the dark about the case and they fear justice may be interfered with.
Tunaomba haki tendeke juu we are so devastated as a family and kitu ilifanyika is so inhuman. Hakuna mtu anafaa kufanyiwa hivyo. It's so bad and we are asking you guys mtusaidie tupate haki ya baba yetu.
Wenye walisababisha hizo kifo ni kama walikuwa na intention fulani, kwa sababu ile kifo alienda kumuua, sio kifo ya kawaida, na kulikuwa na mtu mwingine walikuwa hapo ndani. Pili wale maofisa wengine walisema walisimamisha watu, walikuwa watu wawili, lakini mwenye alishikwa ni mmoja. Huyu mmoja hatujaimuona mpaka saa hii, na hatujaiambiwa ni kwa process gani ya kumuleta kotini ili justice ifanyike kazi. So kitu kizi tunaomba kama familia ni justice ifanyike kwa Marwa, ni Mkenya kama Wakenya wengine.
Muslims for Human Rights Response Officer Francis Auma said the organization will closely follow the case till justice is served.
Wana feel strongly this family kuwa hawatapata justice ya mtu wao. So today wako hapa kuregister na kusema kuwa wanataka muhuri to intervene, kuangalia wamemonitor na other institution, hata kama na IPOA pia should come on board. Hapa kuna maafa, mtu amekufa, hata kama ni polisi yuko na haki kama mtu yoyote.
The body of the late officer will be moved from the Georgetown Hospital morgue on Wednesday next week, transported to Migori County for an overnight stay at his home in Nyambeho village in Kuria East Sub-County on Thursday before burial on Friday.
It is time for a break, but we'll be back in a short while. Do stay with us.
Kuna hizi kampuni zenye zinajua mali niko, kitu nimekula breko, kitu ninasema sahi, kitu nitakula next week on Thursday, pesa niko nazo kwa account, siblings wangu, the list is endless. Na mnajuaje hii information? Kwani mnani stock?
Lakini nikuulize, kabla ya kupress allow, ulijiuliza hii information inatumiwa kwa njia gani? Kabla ya kuallow, hakikisha umesoma terms and conditions.
Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na ofisi ya Data Protection Commissioner.
Hello, Reynaldo. What are you doing here? And who is this woman with you?
She's an old friend, and I just found her in the town square by sheer chance.
Is that so? In the town square?
She's only visiting for a few weeks. I just ran into her, but I'm leaving now.
Amparo, the most important thing is to know what you feel for Reynaldo, because if you don't really love him, then life's too short to spend your life with someone you could never love.
Irazaba doesn't even have the slightest opportunity to go against me, since he doesn't have any proof yet. On the other hand, why don't you forget about everything about this case and work in my company? Well, what do you say? Do you accept it?
You're both imbeciles.
Fabiola, we have to talk.
After the dust settled on rigorous campaigns, Kenyans are waiting for elected leaders to deliver on their pledges.
To have clean, accessible drinking water across the county.
The hustle of everyday Kenyans is encouraged and rewarded.
Operationalizing Kerugoya Level 5 Hospital.
A functioning school feeding program.
But how have the leaders performed so far?
The percentage of A's in 2021 were more than those ones in 2022.
We will not politicize security, because if we do so, we endanger the country.
Every week, we bring you an honest assessment of the national and county governments.
One of the best ways of accelerating national development is through collaboration with county governments.
The Scorecard, coming soon on KBC Channel 1.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Now, the European Union, through Market Access Upgrade Program Markup, has developed a training guide on aflatoxin control. Charity Mutegi, a food scientist at Markup, says there is need to increase the use of AflaSafe to control aflatoxin contamination that has been linked with increased cancer cases in the country.
The government and a number of development partners have been keen on managing and controlling aflatoxin contamination, especially in cereals. This is in a bid to step up food safety efforts in the country. The development comes after studies shows that aflatoxin affects the country's staple foods as well as key export commodities, reducing the country's export earnings. To this end, the European Union-funded Market Access Upgrade Program Kenya has developed a guide for capacity building among players in the food value chains.
There has been a lot of sensitization about what can be done at production level, but also by you as a consumer, and about aflatoxins and its management.
The program, which is being implemented by United Nations Industrial Development, has also developed an elaborate training manual, specially targeting the inspection officers and regulators.
But we're also able to reach out to inspectors across key agencies in Kenya dealing with aflatoxin management, such as the Kenya Bureau of Standards, like the Public Health Department in the Ministry of Health, and the Agriculture and Food Authority. And we actually dealt with their officers at the headquarters, but also in the counties.
Farmers in the areas with high humidities have been encouraged to apply their crops with AflaSafe to reduce the rate of aflatoxin contamination.
Wasiogope kulima chakula kwa sababu kuna sumu ambayo imepatikana kwa rutuba ama kwa mchanga. Wasiogope kamwe kabisa. Waendelee kulima, ndawa iko na haina pesa mingi.
Aflatoxin contamination has been linked to increased cancer cases in the country.
The spouse of the Deputy President, Pastor Dorcas Rigathi, has reiterated that same-sex relationships, LGBTQ, have no place in Kenya. More of this in the county's news roundup.
Speaking while she attended a wedding ceremony in Nyeri town this afternoon, Pastor Dorcas faulted the Supreme Court in its recent ruling that dismissed an appeal to bar registration of members of the LGBTQ community seeking registration. Pastor Dorcas Rigathi said any nation cannot prosper without strong family values.
The only one we know, it is written in the Bible, male and female, he made them. And he blessed them like he has blessed them today, so that they become productive and they will prosper, increase, multiply, and prevail.
The Kiambu County government has embarked on an exercise to clean up local rivers ahead of the rains. The exercise to clean up rivers comes amid concerns about drying rivers caused by environmental degradation and the current drought, among other factors.
Blocking our water passages, especially on the drainage system, we unclog them and ensure that we are properly disposing even the liquid waste.
Elsewhere in Meru County, students from Meru University demonstrated to oppose the removal of Vice Chancellor Romanos Odhiambo. The students engaged police officers from Cheru Police Station in a running battle for the better part of the day as they blocked Maua Meru Highway, leading anti-riot police to use tear gas to disperse them.
We are here today. Yes. We are demonstrating. Yes. We have suspended peace until we see our VC back into the office.
Yes. Is to send away the VC. We are stating that we want the VC back. Yes. Let us leave VC to complete his term. Yes.
These as leaders are calling on the national government to increase the budget allocation for universities and tertiary institutions to help reduce the burden that parents bear to pay educational fees.
The budget for universities in this country and the budget for tertiary institutions in this country must be increased.
And the government has been urged to reinstate the sacked Kenya Wildlife Service community scouts to enable them to continue serving the community and help in conserving the environment.
Tafadhali naomba serikali, I don't normally say that, but today I will appeal, warudishwe kazi, because they are part of zile actions of climate change. They are really critical.
And finally, Busia County Security Team, in collaboration with officers working at the Busia One-Stop Border Post, has expressed commitment to increase revenue collection by sealing loopholes of tax evasion at the facility.
Elsewhere, a group of women in Meru County have rolled out a mentorship program for girls in Kaaga Girls High School and in other schools in the country. The women noted together they will mentor younger girls and help them navigate the challenges life presents. The women, who are an alumni of Kaaga Girls, pledged to form integrity clubs in high schools where they intend to work in.
So I'm asking every other school that has alumni that they can tap into the talents of their own students, because from what they are talking, they are helping the students back at their old school.
This is just the beginning of great things that we are going to do in terms of nurturing the girls, not only in Meru, but all over Kenya and even internationally. And one of the things that we've planned to do, as you've heard, we are going to launch a mentorship program.
And we are coming back to establish an integrity club. The reason being, when we look at the society right now, it's morally decayed. Actually, there's a lot of moral decadence because the young people are the generations of tomorrow. If we were not inculcated values into by our administrators who we are celebrating today, then we would not be here today. So we want to focus on the younger generation.
Local art industry has called upon the government to support them with infrastructure and funding in the universities offering the course. Speaking during the third Duos Festival held in Mombasa, the organizers commended the continued collaboration between the Polish and the Kenyan governments in growing the industry professionally.
Kenyan artist students have continued to benefit from the ongoing 4-year Transcultural Perspectives in Art and Education project funded by the European Union's Horizon 2020 program. According to the artists who participated in the third Duos Festivals held in Mombasa, the experience was exhilarating as they worked in pairs from different cultures to create art.
It's been so enlightening working with other artists of other disciplines.
It makes you look at everything from a different perspectives, from the materials you use to your surroundings. It also gives you fresh eye through which to look at life and art in itself. And I can't believe I actually made a sculpture. Yay! I learned something new, and I believe all of us learned something. So I'm grateful.
Ilikuwa experience nyingine nzuri sana kwa sababu tuliweza kujifunza mambo mapya na tukaweza kujua njia tofauti ambapo pia tuzanufaisha sana yetu.
For a few years I work with found objects, but with this group I found a lot of new inspiration, how they look with objects, how they work. Like they are very talented, so they open my eyes also. Even if I work with found object for so long, they show me different ways.
In an endeavor to grow the industry, the universities offering art courses have called on the government to support them with funding.
Ningependa kuhimiza serikali iweze kutia support kubwa hasa katika mambo ya budget na pia kusupport vijana wetu with technology na space kwa sababu nafasi hii ni kubwa.
And of course, by understanding different culture, it brings that mix that blends their artistic work, that blends their sculpture, that blends their music, and even the way they act. And that brings in a new, different aspect altogether. And that's very important in a world that is very dynamic because things are changing.
The artworks will also be displayed in the Polish National Museum in June this year.
Mostly coastal artists who were selected to participate in the Duos Festival, they benefit because they are also paid for their work, yeah? But they also are traveling to Poland for the exhibition in National Museum, and they continue this work in Poland.
For Lunchtime News from Mombasa County, I am Anburu.
Meanwhile, a row is simmering at Madaraka Market in Thika, Kiambu County, amid claims by traders that they were conned to raise funds to hire a lawyer to oppose a government directive that ended up in the pockets of a few traders. They now want action taken against the alleged scammers.
The genesis of the brewing storm is being blamed on a directive issued in 2021 when the government launched a crackdown targeting potato traders and transporters, violating the 50-kilogram rule in the packaging of Irish potatoes. Following the implementation of the directive, a section of traders are reported to have hired a lawyer to oppose the government's bid, a move that saw over 50 of them contribute 10,200 shillings each towards the lawyer's fees. The money is said to have ended up in the pockets of a few leaders with nothing to show for it. Irked by the revelations, the traders now want the county government to crack the whip and have those who defrauded the traders held to account.
Tumesema hapa kuna pesa ya watu wa mbushi, wa viazi wote soko mzima zilichukuliwa na watu fulani ambaye mnawajua majina zao, wakaambiwa watoa 10,000 na 200 ati ndio waende sijui wafungue nini, wakandanganywa pesa inapelekwa kwa wakili. Na ilikuwa ni uongo mtupu kwa sababu tangu lini Kenya hii yetu mkasikia serikali ikistakiwa? Msaisikia? Hapana. Walichukua pesa za watu karibu 200 na kitu, sijui 600. Wakichukua 10,000 na hizo pesa hadi wa leo hawasemagi kule walipeleka.
Jana nilikuja kuuza maembe yenye nilikuwa nimekuja nayo last soko. Tunarudika huko, hata watu wanashindwa na kupita. Kama huna bahati huwezi ukauza. Sasa nataka hii mkutano ikiisha, tafadhali kabla tusubiri tu hiyo mkutano ya nini ya hiyo kuchaguana, mtu onyesha mahali sisi tutakuwa tunauzia, kwa sababu kila mtu anategemea hii soko. Watoto wetu wanajua utamu wa hii soko.
The market, which has been in deplorable conditions for many years, has been proposed for upgrade through funding from the World Bank. Joan Junge for Lunchtime News.
The rugby. And in sports, Kenya's Shujaa will play Spain tonight in the 9th place semi-final at the Vancouver leg of the Rugby World Series. Shujaa secured a semi-final place after beating African giant South Africa 17-12 in the quarter-finals. After a dismal performance in Los Angeles last weekend, Kenya got the Vancouver leg off to another terrible start by going down 31-12 to Fiji. That loss was followed by another 26-12 hammering by Great Britain before they narrowly lost 21-19 to Uruguay in their last Pool C match. Those losses relegated them to the 9th place quarters, where they beat South Africa 17-12, scoring 3 tries through George Angeyo, Brian Tanga and John Okoth, with one being converted by Anthony Omondi.
Boom! Just like that.
Great scenes for the Kenyans here in Vancouver. They have, of course, made a final before. They will continue in the 9th place challenge, winning this one 17 points to 12 over South Africa.
Moving on, Kenya's Rosemary Wanjiru held off a strong challenge from Ethiopia runners to win the 2023 Tokyo Marathon in Japan. Wanjiru ran 2 hours, 16 minutes and 28 seconds for the 7th fastest women's marathon performance in history, winning by 28 seconds ahead of Ethiopia's Tisei Gemechu. Ashete Bekere finished third after clocking 2 hours, 19 minutes and 11 seconds. Rosemary Wanjiru was contesting the second marathon of her career after finishing second in her debut in Berlin last year. In the men's competition, Kenya's Titus Kipruto clocked 2 hours, 5 minutes and 32 seconds to finish fourth. Ethiopia's Deso Gelmisa emerged victorious in a time of 2 hours, 5 minutes and 22 seconds, beating compatriots Mohamed Essa and Segai Getachew to the second and third positions, respectively.